Now that's better. Now they
There
can
we are.
see us. There we are. Happy Monday. Greetings and salutations. Hello, all. If you think this is a political news show, you have come to the wrong place. Welcome to the Monday Mock with myself, Ben, and my wonderful co-host, who is still very ill down there, Natalie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello! And we are here, of course, to laugh at things we have seen on social media. We will discuss them, obviously, as well. And the first item has kind of been dropped upon us tonight by producer John. And he gives us this. And I do find it quite amusing. It's happened, ladies and gentlemen. A Chinese person with a random English word as a tattoo. It's an old meme. It is an old meme. But still,
what word is it?
amusing.
I can't quite see it from here. What word have they got? What English word?
It is value.
Value.
And I imagine most, the people that have got the sort of Chinese writing tattooed upon them, it probably says things like that. It probably says things like value, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Monster Energy.
Ben, how many tattooists do you reckon have a good laugh with the Chinese writing? And they say, put something like love or peace, and they actually put some dodgy swear word or something that means something completely different, and nobody's going to have any idea.
Well, indeed. I mean, producer John was just in my ear saying it probably says soup. It probably says soup on a random British person. Obviously, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you're going to get annoyed with me for saying that by the end of the show. But this is our show, and we will continue. So I'm going to go to, first of all, Natalie, you're going to have to you set us up with this. This is a tweet from Chris Barnes, and you saw this earlier. And,
I did.
It spoke to you, didn't it?
It did. So it says, I think we just need to accept the 90s was our peak as species. So I thought we could discuss it, see what we think, because I agree. I've actually said this a lot recently to people. What do you think, Ben? 90s? Was it our peak?
Well, I am a child of the late 80s, showing my age there. Oof. But I'm a child of the late 80s and actually grew up a young child and sort of through the 90s. And so I look back on that time extremely fondly. I mean, you are slightly older than me, spoiler alert. You are slightly older than me, so you were probably doing things like partying more often through the late 90s than I was. But I just remember, like, when we think of things like tolerance, for example, we have that all shoved down our throat right now. The idea of tolerance through the 90s, when I was a child, was just the Martin Luther King idea of tolerance. Judge someone by the content of the character, not by the colour of their skin. And now we're being told that was wrong. That was the wrong mindset, and we should judge people by the colour of their skin. I don't believe that to be true. I still believe that the idea of tolerance that we were taught through the 90s was probably the correct one. But I do seem to remember health and safety laws were much more lax. You could get away with making the crystal maze and have somebody falling off something. I'm there. I'm with you.
I've written the same word in my notes. I put tolerance. I think people were just generally more understanding. Well, in the 90s, I don't remember people being racist or homophobic. People were kind of taught you accept people as they are. If they're a prat, treat them as a prat. If they're a nice person, treat them as a nice person. It doesn't matter what gender they are or what race they are or any other class kind of issues. It was treat people as they treat you, and that is not happening now. We are very divided, polarized viewpoints everywhere, and the 90s, it was just more chilled. And I was thinking about.
Let me stop you for a minute, because I'm gonna hit you with a negative to do with the 90s, because let's face it, the music was shit. It really was shit.
Oh no! Ben, I absolutely disagree. It's not often we disagree, but I've written down, you see, the 80s was a good time, but the music and the hair and the dodgy 80s music, the 90s was all about the great music. And like you said, I grew up properly in the 90s partying. So, and also I wrote down as well some of the the kind of the clothes that I remember. Naff Naff, Stussy, Fruit of the Loom, United Colours of Benetton. Everybody remember those? They were classic 90s gear, they were.
Kappa.
Kappa,
Kappa.
and then you had the tracksuits with the zippers
Yep.
that everybody had to open. They were brilliant. That with like United Colours of Benetton jumper and stuff, and a Stussy coat. Reebok classics. You'd be super cool.
Yeah, of course. I'm getting a bit of pushback in the chat here tonight, saying this completely disagreeing with me about the music, and that's fair enough, right? But I'm someone who probably likes the music from the 80s and 70s better than I like the music from like the 90s and especially the early 2000s. The early 2000s music has just been terrible, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is bad. It's all done on a computer with auto-tune. Barely anybody actually making music anymore or actually singing with any talent. Just reading in the chat, I think John said 70s is the best. 1920s we've got as well. 90s to 2001. 80s were wonderful. So, yeah, people disagree in here. But for me, 90s was the peak, and I'm going to stick with it, Ben.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. This is what it's all about here. We can, of course, agree to disagree. But where we can't agree to disagree is... well, okay. Let me set this up for you before we move on. Just Stop Oil is a group that is led by two people. The first one is Roger Hallam, and the second one is a young lady named, and this is her real name, Indigo Rumbelow.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's her real name? Did she change it by default?
No, that is her real name. And I'm going to read this tweet that came out from Indigo Rumbelow because I actually interacted with her and I managed to get the most ridiculous response. And we'll go through it. So Indigo says, my friend Cal Good is currently imprisoned on remand at HMP Bedford for resisting the Home Office's inhumane plan to take people to the Bibby Stockholm. Email messages of solidarity and blah, blah, blah. So I responded because I'm an inquisitive man and I like to stir the old pot a bit. I said, that's not why he is on remand though, is it? So Indigo did respond to me, and it's there on the screen now. She said, yes, it is. They are on remand for obstruction of the highway, for resisting the coach leaving that day. They have other outstanding court cases for taking action with Just Stop Oil, but was not in breach of bail. To which I responded simply, I would suggest that committing a further crime whilst on bail would be a breach of bail.
I think that goes without saying, doesn't it? Isn't that the first rule of thumb? I'm sure John will be able to tell us as a policeman. No, if you're on bail and you commit another crime, you're getting arrested immediately. Does she not understand that?
Well, do you know what? She seems to think that committing another crime isn't breach of a current bail. This woman is leading a cult of people to go and commit crimes. Yep. And she's telling them these things and they're believing her and they're going to end up with okay, I kind of feel sorry for them in a sense because they are going to end up with their lives completely messed up by the end of all of this. But they are still making the active choices to go out and take these actions. We have to remember that.
But it's another example, Ben, of confirmation bias and lies and gaslighting people. We're seeing it so often, whether it be the government or other companies. In this case, Just Stop Oil. It's lies, but she's telling it to herself, to other people, and hoping people are going to believe it. When in fact, if he's on bail and he's committed another crime, and John just said that he thinks that's correct as well, of course you're going to get in trouble.
And of course, right, she never came back to me. Because of course she didn't at that point, because such a simplistic answer as, you are wrong if you are telling people that they're not breaching bail whilst committing another crime, probably made her go, oh shit. That guy is
I take it she didn't reply to that one, did she, Ben?
No, of course not.
No, of course not.
And of course Roger Hallam as well, who started. He's one of the leaders of Just Stop Oil, but he also is one of the founders of Extinction Rebellion. And I
Uh,
would argue the man needs to spend the rest of his life in a secure unit for some of the things that he has said in the past. And that's no slight against people that may be in a secure unit. I just think that's probably the best place for him.
yeah, absolutely. Britmate says, is she one of those women who wears 500 quid backpacks and
Oh
destroys
yeah.
expensive paintings? Yeah, I
Oh
think she'll
yeah.
go into that category, Britmate. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's her.
Indigo Rumbelow is definitely living off mummy and daddy's money. For
Yeah,
sure. Indigo Rumbelow is still definitely getting on them planes and
sounds
having
like
foreign holidays.
it,
Has
it
probably
sounds
got
like a
3 Range
character,
Rovers.
like from the Gruffalo. I just obviously did the Gruffalo ride. It's like it just seems so ridiculous.
No, Gruffalo. That
No,
there is Indigo.
to go. Yeah, exactly. Gruffalo. See? Oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay, right. We're going to move on then. We're going to move to our
TikToker went viral after demanding wheelchairs for fat people.
Doesn't matter if you think a wheelchair user is only using the wheelchair because they are disabled by their fatness.
She is known for her confidence online, making people love their bodies, no matter how big or small they are. She would wear bikinis and show to the public how good she looks in them.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm not apologizing to you for being fat. I'm so sorry, babe. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, obesity isn't your obesity.
She tried on pieces of clothing.
What do you think, Ben? She's. I thought the big debate point here would be: do we agree with her? Do fat people or being overweight, does that automatically make you disabled, as she was trying to claim?
Well, first of all, I do want to preface this with the fact that I'm neither a doctor or a scientist. However, I am a man who has been 23 stone 9 in the past.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and I'll show you a picture at some point.
Next
it's
week's
bad.
show.
It's
Next week's
bad.
show. I'm expecting it.
But all I can say is when I was that size, I was on the cusp of diabetes. I was on the cusp of diabetes. My blood tests were all coming back. If you don't do something about this, you are going to end up with diabetes. So, whilst I'm saying maybe not automatically, I'm saying there are so many things that can come along with being that size. Heart problems, diabetes, vascular problems. You can end up with so many issues. Now, first and foremost, you guys know me and you know I'll never tell people what to do. People want to do that to themselves. They've absolutely every right to do it. However, I want to just harp on this wheelchair thing. If you've got these other issues, then sure, you're probably going to need a wheelchair at some point. But if you're just saying I need a wheelchair because I can't be asked to walk, I try my best day in, day out to extend the amount of time I've got on my legs, right? I have to use a mobility scooter / wheelchair if I'm doing long distances or going around a theme park, as you all know, Natalie, and as anybody will know who watches The Real Review. I'm trying my best with physical therapies to try and get myself out of my chair and onto my stick for longer than possible, or for as long as possible. These sorts of people don't understand the mindset, what it's like to be in a chair. Now, I don't know what it's like to be in a full-time wheelchair, and I want that to last as long as possible. So for people to just want it for the sake of it, it affects me. Yeah.
I think when I saw this video, it's the sense of entitlement to me and the kind of hypocrisy with it. Because on one hand, this person, and I don't like to kind of make judgment or ridicule people online, but this person has chosen to do it. They are making videos. This isn't someone that's been photographed in the street. They're putting themselves out there to be judged. And there's a big difference when she's on one hand saying, big is beautiful, this is the way you should be, I'm not embarrassed by my size, but then saying, but I demand to be classified as disabled, and I want to take that as well as a victim mentality. There's some kind of contradiction there for me. That's not to say that some overweight people are disabled, and that for many reasons that could be. But this one, it doesn't sit comfortably with me. It's almost like, I want to take the good and the bad at the same time. I want to take all the good from body positivity, but also then say I'm disabled and get all the perks from that as well. It doesn't sit right with me, Ben.
I mean, and once again, just harping back to what I said at the beginning of this segment, someone who's been 23 stone 9, I think the body positivity movement can be dangerous, and that's all I'm going to
It
say.
can, yeah, it absolutely can be, and there's nothing wrong with being happy in your own body,
No,
and feeling confident, but there has to be, to me, the truth coming with it. To try and claim that someone of that size doesn't have problems with their health. I mean, I'm tiny and I've got problems at the moment with gastro reflux problems, and that increases the bigger you get.
yeah,
Diabetes, all of these type of things, and to try and pretend that doesn't happen is does everybody an injustice on this whole
and I
body
think
positive movement.
And I think that's where we will leave this,
Yeah.
because our next photograph for you tonight has once again been provided by Natalie. And there's a series of them we're going to go through. Not right this second, keep this one up now. But Natalie, I need you to set the scene here.
Yeah, because this is following up from last week. And this is for Ben's wife, Chrissy, because she said to me this week, I want to see a picture of the cat woman. Because Chrissy says she's a bit of a cat woman herself. But Chrissy,
Yeah.
you do not look like this lady, Jocelyn Wildeston. She's a Swiss socialite. I thought she was dead, but she's not. She's very, very famous for looking like a cat. 83 years old now, she is, and still going strong despite all the plastic surgery, Ben.
Now, you said to me earlier, or you asked me earlier, should we have a conversation on whether or not people should be allowed to go this far with themselves? And I think they should, right? I think they, as long as, like I said in the last segment, as long as they're not harming anybody else and they're mentally competent, I think that they should be able to do these things to themselves, because I'm a firm believer of your body, your choice.
I think for me, the only thing as a doctor, a plastic surgeon, because I've been watching some videos on it and what they say, all doctors take an oath to do no harm. So there is some surgeries where a surgeon has to turn around and says, I can't do that because it will kill you. And within that, I think surgeons have a right to say, that at that point it isn't right. But up to then, even if we don't agree with it, even if we don't like the way they look, if it's not actually affecting their health when they have the operation and they continue, it's up to that person and their freedom of choice to look. She wants to look like a cat woman. She's made it to 83. I'm not sure I'm going to make it to 83.
Move on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll let you decide whether or not she has succeeded in her mission of looking like a cat. I mean, this is how she intended to end up looking. I honestly think she hasn't succeeded very well in her mission. But
no.
She intended to look like this. Now, the next picture is a tale of plastic surgery gone wrong. Someone who continued to have surgeries until they absolutely messed up their face. And that's the actor Mickey Rourke. And I think...
Wow, look at those pictures.
I think the surgeries to Mickey Rourke may be an exception to this rule, because he was having them done because he was in a poor state of mental health. And I think at that point, someone needs to step in and evaluate and say, are you in the right frame of mind to be making these decisions?
Exactly. That to me is for the job, of the plastic surgeon or doctor. That's the same for any procedure, or as we've said about other operations that people may want. You've got to make sure that person has informed consent. And if you have a mental health condition, you can't give full informed consent. So to me,
agree.
That's really, really important. And these pictures are quite sad when you look at it. And you see nowadays so many of these people, the women now with these big lips and the faces that don't move, and this is kind of where it started with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, I will say the man, despite the way he ended up looking, he is still an extremely talented actor. He's still an extremely talented actor, and in fact, as a bit of a bittersweet, I guess, silver lining, I think the fucked up look has actually ended up giving him some more notable film roles over the years than he may have got. He was even Vanko in Iron Man 2, and I don't know if he would have got that role if he looked like the gorgeous Mickey Rourke on the left there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It changed completely for him, but I wonder how people think like how he thinks he looks now. I know the cat lady did all these interviews and said she's very happy still with the amount of plastic surgery and doesn't regret it at all. But you do wonder if they doth protest too much.
I tell you who else is very happy. Someone I promised you I would show you last week. This is German transracial woman Martina Big, who got injections and surgeries to turn herself black. I told you she was real. She is. There she is.
I honestly, if you hadn't have told me this was real, I would have thought this is like a Bo Selector's type caricature on a TV program.
It's real. It's real.
Does this not count as blackface though?
I don't know. Right now, but the thing is, this is such a difficult conversation to have on this platform, so we have to be extremely careful with our words, okay? But if people will accept other trans, then surely they should accept this trans. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to elaborate. But
to be honest, I don't care how anyone wants to look. Right? If she wants to look like that, good on her. As long as it doesn't affect my everyday life, and then she's not trying to tell me how I should act and how I should dress, and that affects my freedoms, good on you. If that's how you want to look, if you want to look like Bo Selector character, you go for it, girl.
Brit Mate in the chat says she looks a bit more authentic than Rachel Dolezal. And if you don't know who Rachel Dolezal is, she will feature next week on the Monday Mock.
Yes. I think Rachel what's her second name? Is it Dolezal, did you say? I think she always I think she looks quite authentic. Do you not think?
Is she still pretending to be black?
Yeah, she is, yeah. She's still. So we'll bring that one up next time and we can see what people think on that one.
Well, yeah. We just had the voice in the air. So wait a minute, Michael Jackson pretended to be white.
And Slim says my partner identified as trans slender. So there we go.
Why not?
Exactly. Identify as whoever you want.
Exactly. If it makes you feel good, just remember your rights end where somebody else's begins. That's
very, very true.
That's the long and short of it. So if you want to go around, calling yourself a rainbow unicorn, you feel free to do that. I am not going to stop you. I will never stop you. Just don't try and force me by consequence to acknowledge that. That's all.
Yep, absolutely. I might pretend I'm a microwave tomorrow, but you don't have to pretend that I am. Or I might pretend I'm something else. But if that's all my freedom of choice.
That's quite. I hate food cooked in the microwave so much, right? That my microwave is used as a kitchen timer and nothing else.
I put my microwave heat packs in there, so my microwave's always going, so I can warm those up. That's my main use for my microwave.
Oh God, I hate microwaves. And this segues quite well onto the next video, which Voice in the Sky, please play for us the first one, and then Natalie can.
Oh my God.
Welcome back, everybody. And if you were wondering what New Zealand street food / pub grub looks like, you got it right here.
Okay, so there's steak and a burger patty on this one. All right, Kilo Crew, so we are finally in Auckland. This time I am at Broadway Diner, and I'm about to take on their amazing brand new Broadway Diner Challenge. This thing is insane. It's a full menu challenge here. I have one of their legendary Aucklander burgers. This has a big old Scotch fillet in it. And then I also have one of their White Lady burgers, which is covered in an egg, bacon goodness. And then I have one of their chicken peri-peri mayo burgers. I do have 3 different American style hot dogs. And then I do have a hot dog on a stick, some Kumara chips, and then a whole smattering of fries. And then I do have a ham and cheese toasty. I'm going to have 1 hour to finish all of this. If I am successful, I do get the 140 New Zealand dollar meal for free, a groovy beanie to add to my collection, and my name and photo up on the wall of fame.
I'm obsessed with these videos. The rise and rise of the professional eaters, Ben. Can she do that challenge?
Well,
Can she eat all that in an hour?
I can tell you that if she does, it might shave some months off of her life. I think we've lost Natalie.
I follow them. I
Oh,
follow
she's
them.
back.
Can you hear me? I
Yep.
follow them on Facebook. She's called Karina Eats Kilos, I think. And this isn't like a one-off. They do this regularly. So she's like a bodybuilder that eat these professional eaters. I'm obsessed with it because I love eating and I can't eat at the moment. And it's like I'm living vicariously through these professional eaters who can like finish that plate off in an hour.
You know what?
Although I think they're going to have terrible problems as they get older with their gastric, like whole system. I would imagine.
I'm with Slim there. I probably couldn't finish one of those sandwiches either. But let's find out if she does it, shall we?
Something to move somewhere because all of everything is still here. Ooh. Oh. Final bite of food and then a very, very slow milkshake chug. Mm. 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 I'm ready to retire.
She did it in 38 minutes.
What the fuck?
She did it 20 minutes quicker than she needed to, so she didn't have to pay for the meal. I'm like well impressed. I love eating. If I could eat that much, I wish I went into that business a lot when I was younger, but now it's not going to happen. I can barely eat at all at the moment.
I mean, I just barely eat anyway, right? As you know,
that's a lot of food.
Yeah, but you spent time with me. I barely eat food, yet I'm a fat bastard. It's really not fair. Because you're skinny as you like, and you're like, oh, I like eating. I'll eat whatever I want. I tell you, I have one French fry and my hip fucking doubles in size.
That's why I'm struggling, because I love eating and I've got a massively high metabolism and my body won't let me eat properly at the moment. Slim said she must do the world's biggest farts. Yeah, I dread to think you wouldn't want to be sharing a bed with her, would you? She'd be putting your head under the cover. You wouldn't be able to escape. Oh dear.
Now, let's move on to a bit of stupidity.
If the Earth was a globe, then there wouldn't be any flat earthers. If the Earth was actually a globe, then there wouldn't be anyone online trying to sit there and debate and say, hey, no, I don't think it's a globe. Do you see what I'm saying? The debate is there because the model is wrong. The debate about whether the Earth is a globe or it's flat only exists because the globe model is wrong.
So on that premise, if someone argues something is wrong, well, it has to be wrong because this man tells you it. What do you reckon, Ben?
It's like the terrain theory guys, right? Now, I won't tell you whether or not I subscribe to germ theory or terrain theory. You can probably make your own conclusions based upon that. But I remember watching this one terrain theory guy who was just going, look, mate, he's Australian. I'm telling you now, right? Everything I say is absolutely correct because I'm really smart. I'm really smart and I say it's correct. And I'm like, okay, but why is it correct? Oh, because I'm really smart. Oh, yeah.
I think that's one of the worst arguments I've ever heard for flat Earth, though. He basically said, well, it has to be flat because there wouldn't be people arguing about it otherwise. I hate to tell this man, but people will argue about anything. I mean, just put anything on Twitter. People will argue with you. If you say that orange is a colour orange, you'll have people arguing with you.
Oh, yeah,
so
of course.
On that basis, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And by the way, terrain theory, germ theory, I think it's a bit of both in my opinion. I think that generally that you would pick up something if your terrain is struggling, but the germs are still there. So I think there's that I do things like chicken pox.
Hold on a minute. So your son's comment is on screen. Says, have you heard of grifters? And our John, our producer, has responded to him in the chat saying, your ma.
I'm a grifter. John.
Oh!
He's pulling out the insults today. You're going to call me a shill as well.
He really
My
is.
shill.
We do this shit for free. We do this shit for free. We don't get paid for this.
He said it was a joke.
No, I know
I had him
it
in
was
my
a
ear.
joke. Yeah, well, I know it was a joke, and me calling him out, that was a joke also. It was set up, he's just ruined it. Yeah, just it is what it is. It is what it is. And yeah, I agree with you though. These people, so many of them, they just go, look, I'm right because
Yes.
because why? Yeah, no. Because why? Because I'm right, because I said so. And then, like I say, go back to the guy I saw arguing about, I'm just really, really smart, and that's why I'm right. I don't have to tell you why, just really fucking smart.
Well, that's the same thing that he was saying. He's not explaining why he thinks the world is flat, just that it has to be true because people are arguing it.
Because the globe's wrong.
He's not giving me any evidence or anything to actually.
I have a question for the flat earthers, right? Because if it really is flat and it's being kept from all of us, that must mean that tens, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people actually know that it is flat and are then therefore keeping it from the rest of us, including their own families, because if you listen to what these people are saying, then there's a giant ice wall wrapped around us all that we're I guess defending or protecting.
I heard it's something about an Antarctica agreement, and it's the only one that everyone still keeps to, and nobody is allowed to go and explore there, and that's what they're trying to hide. I think that's what I heard a flat earther say.
But why?
Why again? This is the thing that I always come back to with any conspiracy theory. Yeah, who's benefiting from it, and does it affect our everyday life? So even let's say they were true, Ben, and it's flat. How does that affect mine and yours day-to-day life? Does it really make any difference?
No, it doesn't.
That's why I never get why people are so upset about it.
Believe
what you like.
Yeah, believe what you like, but if you want me to believe it, then you're going to have to come at me with some compelling evidence.
Yes, absolutely.
And by compelling evidence, I mean not the globe's wrong, so it must be. I mean, that's not really compelling evidence. However, we're going to see a comparison now between our generation and Generation Z. So let's
How
take a
do
look.
you answer the phone? Now hang up the call. How do you make a heart symbol with your hands? That is gang sign. It's not.
That is the wrong way. That's stupid. That was so
Two
stupid.
velociraptors.
So weird. So weird.
How did you take a pretend photo?
Like that, or like with like my phone?
Well, like if you were ready to take a picture of someone.
Here.
How do you roll down a car window?
Yeah, you push the button.
How would you pose for a group photo? 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh.
Hand on hip, legs out, or for the front row.
Yes.
Now, what are you like? I don't know, like you.
I hate them.
They're a bit too cheery, aren't they?
Far too cheery, even for this show. Far too cheery. But you know what? I am technically a millennial. Technically.
It did make me feel old though by watching it, because I did everything that the millennial did. I did do the heart.
Me too.
I did roll down the window. I did do the phone.
Yep.
So it's showing my age. It's just
but
we're getting old, Ben.
If you think about it, we have children, right? Your children are in their teens. One of my children is fast approaching his teens. It's man, we are getting old. We are aging, and if you agree that we're aging, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're here every Monday. Actually, a little bit of housekeeping. Next Monday and the Monday after, the shows will be pre-recorded, but they will feature both myself and Natalie. They'll be filmed, I think next Monday we're filming on Sunday, and then the following Mondays we're filming on the Saturday. But it will look exactly the same. It will run exactly the same. We just won't be speaking physically to the chat. I think Natalie and John will probably be in the premiere of it, and we'll talk in the tippy tappies.
Yes, yeah.
But
that's Ben's away.
That's just because if you're not subscribed to the other channel, The Real Review UK, you probably should be. Natalie has been out and about making some content for that, which I am yet to review and approve, but I imagine it's fine.
Ben's the boss.
You damn right.
Says goes. Yeah, absolutely.
You damn right.
he's the eye candy too, and the boss. So I can't compete.
Well, you know.
There we go.
You know. Yeah, just ask Emma Watts. She knows. Anyway, let's move on then. This is one I don't know why you've given us, but you have.
It made me laugh.
Trevor, you farted. That fucking reeks. Oh.
Is it thermocap picking that up? Yeah. Seriously?
No, Trevor.
You did it. You're an animal. That's really mature. That's awesome.
Why, Natalie? Why?
Well, because I just thought it made me laugh. I always like a bit of toilet humour, but imagine, like Silent but Violent, if we always have thermal cameras, right? And everyone knew when you farted, the world would be a very different place, I'm sure. People don't want people seeing if they farted like that, do they?
Yeah, but then there would be a bit more spontaneous combustion in the world. So
that's true.
You'd end up. Have you seen the South Park movie? Right, Kenny's death is quite, horrific in that film.
Imagine that Karina eats kilos. Imagine what her fart would look like on that thermal machine. See, you can have competitions.
I imagine that woman has to use a lot of laxative products.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could survive the rest of my life without eating any food, I would. I'm not a fan of food. I'm really not. But I know you love it, right? But I just love drinks, and it's my bane of my existence. But I'm on the sugar-free stuff now. I'm on the sugar-free stuff so that I try not to get as fat.
Yeah. I've got like a bit of weak squash. It's really not very exciting. I'd much rather be drinking fizzy drinks. But
well, I'll tell you what. Next week, if you're still feeling shitty, just pour a load of Pepto-Bismol in your weak squash, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Get some Pepto-Bismol, pour it in. Right, can't be any worse, right? Slim has berry tea. Very nice, Slim. Very
maybe
nice
I
indeed.
should be. Yeah, maybe I'll have tea next time, like a nice herbal tea. Get proper posh.
And Slim also suggests that Karina eats kilos must be thermonuclear. must and Slim, I'm with you, my friend. Must be absolutely thermonuclear. And Brit Mate says he's never cut loose on his missus.
Really?
But then again, how long have you been with your missus? Okay. Because that's the question.
Yeah, you can't. If you've been with someone long term, you're going to accidentally slip out a fart at some point. You can't be together for 20 years and not fart in front of your partner.
She's right. She's absolutely right. I mean, I've been with my wife. We've been married over 11 years. Okay, we just don't care anymore. We just don't care anymore.
Yep.
The idea, and plus, maybe from my point of view, being a disabled man who's had to have some questionable procedures in his lifetime, shall we say, the idea of shame is something I don't feel. I feel no shame.
I'm sure Vaughan's going to be happy about that. Shalini says Vaughan's always farting, so she's outing him.
No, but I can actually confirm I've seen that happen in real life. I can confirm that. Need
to get a thermal picture of him, Shalini, so he knows for the future of his farting problems.
Right, we're talking teeth now, which is a personally, horrific subject to me, but you can talk and I will give you some anecdotes. Go for it.
Yeah, so I thought I'd bring up the turkey teeth. I think we've got a couple of pictures of the turkey teeth. It's become quite famous now. It's a look that normally comes along with the kind of Botox lips, I think it is, or a filler in the lips. And that's what they have to do in order for you to get these turkey teeth. They actually have to ruin your natural teeth, as you can see, and make them into that kind of awful little pointy thing. Personally, I can't think of anything worse. And this man is very disappointed because he went to get turkey teeth and it all went wrong. And now he's been left with these absolutely awful set of teeth, as you can see.
I mean, we got another example. Show us the next example here. This is.
She looks a beauty, isn't she?
Yeah, right. Well, I understand why people are doing it because I can't get a dentist. I haven't been able to get a dentist for over 2 years. I'm an NHS dental patient. Nobody will take on an NHS dental patient in my local area. I've been filling my teeth myself,
Wow.
and I've had to rely on people's kindness and donations when I've had to go to a private dentist to have a tooth ripped out. It's as simple as that. And that ends up costing a lot of money. And, some people watching now have helped towards that in the past. So I understand why people are doing it. It's not that expensive.
I love that.
I mean, it's definitely something I would consider down the line. Maybe just simply out of desperation. Because, like I say, I can't get myself a dentist here in this country. So I'm understanding why people are doing this. And, for some people it's going right, and for many it's going wrong.
Did you see the picture of William Shakespeare with the turkey teeth
I
and the hair transplant? It's like they all look the same now. It's not a look that I like, but as we said, if it was your freedom of choice, if you like bright white fake teeth and filler and a fake tan and a hairline, you go for it. But it's not a look that that is attractive to me. But if that's what you want, we're all different, Ben.
Well, like I say, my teeth are screwed, but my teeth are screwed because of the years of abuse from fizzy drinks. I know what I've done to them, but that's because I'm teetotal. I'm sober for proper reasons, and I had to replace them with something. I'm autistic. I've got an addictive personality, as you well know, Natalie. So you have to replace it with something, and the consequence has been I've fucked my teeth.
I've been very lucky, seeing as that I've had an addiction to fizzy drinks for most of my life, and look, I know actually pretty good. But
I'm
I did
not
have
showing you
train
mine.
tracks.
I'm just not getting mine out. It's just, I mean, one of my two front one, that's fake.
Oh, well, you can always got the choice of turkey teeth. You never know. Maybe that's a decision that you can think about. Do you want the fake turkey teeth?
Well, this fake one is actually because of the ineptitude of the NHS. This is an implant. This isn't a denture. It's because when I had an accident when I was a small child, I had some surgery done to reconstruct my jaw, and they left a piece of surgical instrument in the root of my tooth, which over the years calcified and killed the root, and then finally killed the front tooth. And they acknowledged their mistake and gave me a free implant. So win.
That's terrible. But I was going to say that those turkey teeth, they're so bad that people have been putting fake teeth online, and people can't tell the difference that they've put like a fake pair in or if they're turkey teeth. It's definitely a look. It's definitely a acquired taste.
Yeah,
if you want fake turkey
I
teeth.
agree with you. I agree with you. But I understand why people are doing it, especially right now when, as a British citizen, so many people are not able to get a dentist here in Britain. And then, people like, I don't mean to knock these people because it's not their fault, but like people on the Bibby Stockholm, for example, have access to a private dentist 24/7. And then you've got people like myself and other people all over this country who can't get a single piece of dental work done. And you can understand why they're doing it. You can understand their resentment, and you can understand why they're thinking, well, this is going to solve my issues.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I've actually got an NHS dentist, so I do make sure I go for my 6 monthly checkups. So I keep on their books because, like you said, once you come off them, you're not going to find another one.
Exactly indeed. So let's move on to the next video.
Oh, we're waiting in suspense.
I don't think he knows we're still on stage.
I can see it on my picture though.
Oh, there it is.
I like this little video. It just shows you there was no way I thought that was real, and they've just changed the settings. It looks like little kids' toys, doesn't it?
It does. It does. But no, that is real. That is real. Just making it look like stop motion. And I know you like that little video. And I tell you what else is real. And this only got released a few hours ago, boys and girls. Next picture, please. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not AI generated, and I say that because John actually contacted me and said, what the hell is that AI generated Superman? But no, this is an officially released image by director James Gunn of the new Superman, David Corenswet, in his new Superman suit. What do you think of that, Natalie?
Well, like you said, when I first saw it, it did look very AI generated. So has he done it before? I don't know much about these adventure movies.
No, this is the first time he's played Superman.
And I said to you when you sent it to me, it's like a poor man's Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I still don't get why Gunn fired Cavill, because Cavill is Superman for this new generation. And I don't know if you guys have seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but this Superman suit, same director, James Gunn, this Superman suit looks exactly like those Guardians of the Galaxy jumpsuits, but just sort of, I don't like the way it's not skin tight, and I don't know. But
I think the problem with the last two things we've watched, though, it's so hard to tell anymore what's real and what's not. Like, anything now they can change to AI. He might not have even actually done that photo shoot. They might have just added him to it, and they don't. That's what they're saying. Like, is Hollywood going to go kind of out of business essentially? Because they don't actually need actors anymore. They just need a picture, and then AI can act for them.
Let me tell you, Hollywood is screwed, and the reason Hollywood is screwed, especially these large studios, is because they have increased the budgets of these movies completely out of control. I'll give you an example. They're doing reshoots right now for a whole month on Deadpool and Wolverine, which comes out on July 16th. Now, they'll say to you, oh, this is totally normal. But a whole month's worth of reshoots less than 2 months before the release of a bloody movie is not normal. But that film already had a budget of $250 million fucking dollars, and now they've dropped these reshoots on top of it, and then you've got the marketing cost, which is going to be over $100 million. This is why Hollywood is screwed, because they need to make $1 billion at the box office just to make their money back.
I might try and put this on next week's show. I sent it to my son because we like South Park, and there was an AI generated, I don't know if you've seen it, real version of South Park that AI had done with real people to make it look like Kenny and Stan, and it was pretty amazing. Like, the people in the comments were saying, hold on a minute, you don't need Hollywood. If you can create something that good with not even real people, surely why would you pay for these big actors in the future? They'll just do a movie on AI.
I tell you what, Britmate is a man after my own heart. I am also waiting for Alien Romulus. That looks really good. Looks really good. I also think, if you're into films, Furiosa might be pretty good as well. Simon Gold says, evening all, his UNN show went on late tonight. Is Nat happy yet?
Yes, it's cheering me up. I still have a coldlet. I'm just feeling a bit disgusting, and you might hear that my voice isn't great, but I'm here and I'm smiling. So thank you, Simon.
Right, just a few things left for tonight then. So let's move on to our luggage.
from London Heathrow Airport, and here's what rocked up at my door. It cost me a grand total of £80, so I thought I'd open it on camera and we can decide if it's worth it. Okay, so I started off by taking off this black wrapping to reveal this blue Dulce suitcase. These go for about £200 brand new, so that's a pretty good start. Now it's time to whack it open. I was actually super nervous. I had to cut off this tag to get inside, and here's what the suitcase looked like when I opened it. It's definitely a woman's suitcase. First items on top was anti-itch cream and some brand new underwear, which isn't a good start. Then underneath that was a bunch of traditional dresses and outfits, which are actually so stunning. It was definitely a woman's suitcase. There was a couple of cute tops, like this pink one and this white one. I also pulled out 3 pairs of pajama bottoms, and this black bag was from Primark. It's actually quite cute. Then
have we crashed?
We may have. I think that was the end of it.
No. Okay.
But I wanted or saw this, and I just thought, is this ethical? You know, should these companies be selling people suitcases rather than actually trying to get it back to their owners? And it's a bit like when people go into somebody's house and do a robbery or something. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not sure I'm very comfortable with people going through other people's suitcases. I was like, oh, it's wrong.
Even so, you know, you could be the owner of that suitcase and the airline may well have lost it, because that's probably what happened here.
Yes.
First and foremost. And you're sitting there going, watching this video going, she's going through my underwear. I mean, why are they putting it on video? It is a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit strange.
I didn't even know that. I thought I'd put it on there because I didn't even know that you could do that. Like, you could buy something for 80 quid. And it just feels a bit personal going through somebody else's lost belongings.
There are whole TV shows based upon people buying abandoned storage lockers, right? And
yeah.
And they just go through other people's stuff and they look at all this storage. And there are YouTube channels as well devoted solely to this, where they buy these abandoned storage lockers and they bid on them and they outbid one another and they go through each other's stuff. And like you said, I'm just not quite sure how ethical it all really is.
Can you imagine, right? I mean, I don't really fly very often, but I've gone and lost my suitcase. And then I see on YouTube somebody's opened it up and literally, oh look, they're going through all my personal belongings. I'd be absolutely distraught, and it's all filmed live. No, I'm not happy with it. I don't.
That's fair enough, and you know, I think people in the chat are agreeing here. I mean, Brit Mate says she bought luggage for 80 quid. She bought luggage for 80 quid.
Yep.
But yeah, no, people in the chat completely agreeing here, like no personal privacy. And if you agree with us, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Told you you would hate me by the end of this. Now, we have, like I say, we have about 2 more items here. One of them is actually from Simon Gold, but we'll get to that at the end, don't worry. But this here is a tweet from somebody that calls themselves Propaganda17 and says, last night a mate offered to buy a girl a drink for her birthday while out socially. She came over and asked for one, and he kindly handed over his card. She then returned with a £35 bottle of Prosecco with a big smirk on her face. Is this acceptable?
Well, my answer, it didn't go down very well, but this person was very upset about this, and apparently he thought the woman was really cheeky. I said, well, the person who's at fault here is somebody giving you a drunk person a card. If you give a drunk person a credit card, you get whatever is coming to you. I mean, that could have been worse. £35, she could have put a round of drinks on for hundreds of pounds and it would have been your fault. Don't give anybody your card is the answer to that one, I'm afraid. I'm not going to say that. I mean, okay, was she a bit cheeky? Maybe, but if, you know, it could have been a lot worse. Don't, you know, be more sensible.
I mean, your son is pointing it out, saying 7 bottles. And Brit Mate says he's lucky it wasn't Cristal Champers. I completely agree with you. And I completely agree with what Natalie just said here. If somebody came up to me and went, could you buy me a drink? And I didn't know them and I was single, right? Let's put all of these circumstances into. I'd say either no or okay, what would you like? And then go and purchase that single drink, not bottle of drink.
Yeah.
I would go. Like you said, Natalie, you hand over your card to a drunk
To
person.
anyone even.
She might not have even bloody returned the card.
Yeah,
you don't know the person.
You know, if you want to buy someone a drink, part of it should be the act of going to buy them the drink and going to the bar for them. If you can't even be asked and you hand someone a card, I got no sympathy. I think she could have spent a lot more. If it was me, I'm being honest here. Okay, maybe this is my bad side. I would have spent more. If someone gave me a card and was stupid enough, I'd have probably gone and got a massive round. So there you go. Don't give me a card.
The thing is, I from the male side of this, I just wouldn't hand over the card. I just wouldn't do it. Like I said, could you get me a drink? There's two answers. Sorry, I have no idea who you are.
If I'm down my local, Ben, and I give my card to anybody in that pub, they're going to put a massive round of drinks on it and find it absolutely hilarious. So I think there's a bit of naivety on this person, and I don't think he was getting the answers that he wanted. I think he wanted to slate the woman and how rude she was. I'm like, no, take some accountability for your actions.
And I think the term play stupid games, win stupid prizes applies to this one. Now, before we leave y'all tonight, right, we're going to talk about what's real and what's not. Natalie, explain yourself.
So Simon Gold, who's in the chat, put this up. I had to take a look twice. I'm thinking, is that old picture of me? But then I remembered that my boobs aren't that nice. So even when I was younger, that's not a picture of me. It says Natalie Chill in Reading Town Centre 2012. I've never had a fringe either. So I believe Simon Gold put a picture of me on somebody else's body.
Exactly. Right. This is the point we've been making at different points throughout this evening.
Yeah.
So John wants to see your right wrist.
My right wrist.
He says he wants to look for the tattoo on your right wrist.
That's not that. It's definitely not me. It's definitely not me.
There we go then.
But I mean, I could say it's me because she does look rather good. I could pretend.
I mean, she does look like you. She really does. But we
I
discussed
think
this.
Simon, can you confirm this? Did you put me on a picture of somebody else, or just find something that looks like me?
Well, how on earth are you just going to find somebody? Pick somebody out of the blue that looks like you? He's done a very good job here. Whatever he's done.
Well done, Simon. Yeah, you just showed us you can't believe anything.
Exactly. Believe
what's
nothing.
Real, what's not real.
Nothing you hear and half of what you see.
Question everything. Trust no one. Particularly me and Ben.
Someone said it was Anne Hathaway face swap Nat. There you go.
There we are.
There you go. You cannot believe most of what you see these days because it's so easy to manipulate and it's so easy to create deep fakes and the like. And, that is a message we would like you all to take away from this evening. And I would like you to take away maybe a smile upon your face. Maybe you've enjoyed this. I know I've enjoyed this. It's good to laugh. It's good to mock. And it's good to do it at the start of the week when everybody is feeling somewhat at their lowest. So, with that, Brit Mate asks, are we live on Friday night? I was about to get there. Yes, me and John will be live with you Friday night for Chasing Descent All In. I was just too unwell this week. It's as simple as that. I was not well. So we will be back Friday night for All In. John and Ed will be live on the Outer Place channel on Thursday night to talk some conspiracy or cryptid or some shenanigan like that. And I just hope everybody's had a wonderful time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then please don't forget to do so. If you haven't left a like, then you've insulted us, quite frankly. And if you have enjoyed it, we say thank you very much. Natalie, over to you.
Yeah, I've had a good laugh. I think in this crazy world of social media and the internet, we need to learn to laugh, otherwise we cry. And that's hopefully the point of today's show. We hope we put a smile on your face, and it's a good way to start the week.
Absolutely, and don't forget, guys, next week's will be here at the same time, but it will be pre-recorded, so if we're not responding to you in the chat, that is why. So, it's been great for you.
Yeah.